So as something becomes less and less probable, you need a longer and longer time scale for the quantum fluctuation to take place and for it to come into being. So, you could have we could die, our particles can reassemble, and we could become basically immortal through reassembly of the particles. The time scale needed for that is enormous. So as something becomes more and more improbable, like say 1,000,000 times in a row, tails coming up on a coin, us reassembling our particles. So these things that are really long probabilities, mathematically, given a long enough timeline, they have to happen. But as that probability gets longer and longer, 100 trillion heads in a row, that's so improbable, so you need longer and longer time for it to come up. The thing about that is that time isn't even a real thing. So what does that mean? You need longer and longer time for these probabilities to happen, but time isn't even a real thing, because we know time is just the movement, the measurement of movement of objects relative to each other. We know that because if we go the speed of light, time stands still, and if we stop the motion of everything, time stands still. So what does it mean to say, if we have a long enough timeline, long probabilities are going to come true? What does that mean when, time is just the measurement of the relative movement of objects? So it doesn't even make sense. Does it? Does that make sense?
I think what it means is that if you reconfigure, you just won't notice the time, the duration of time.
Is it more proof? I'm eating blueberries. Is it more proof that, just what I said before in that last video where, I'm gonna eat this blueberry, where when you reassemble, for you it's instantaneously?
Yeah.
Is it more proof that that's what's happening? Because time isn't a real thing. Would it be a real thing in a Boltzmann brain?
No, I don't think so.
Then we're in Boltzmann brains, because time isn't a real thing, and all probable outcomes must come to be. I think the only way both of those could be true is if you're in a Boltzmann brain, right? Because if it's real that you're in physical matter, if it's real that this world exists and there's atoms and we're in physical matter, it seems like if that's true, you need time to be a real thing, because you need time to pass for the quantum fluctuation to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you're in a physical world with real atoms, you need time to be a real thing.
Yeah.
But we know it's not. We know it's not real. It's a human construct. It's a figment of our imagination. It's our measurement of movement of things relative to each other. So it's not really a real thing. But you need it to be a real thing if you believe that we have physical matter. You need these infinitesimally small probabilities to rearrange over these infinitely long periods of time.
Yeah.
So you need time to be a real thing.
I guess.
So you need time to be real if you believe there's physical matter. But we know for a fact that time isn't even a real thing, because of what I just said. It stops two different ways existing: speed of light, or all atoms stop moving. Both of them means that time ceases to exist. That means it's a measurement that we made up of just the movement of objects. So it's not even a real thing. So I just think that's more proof we're in a Boltzmann brain. And the Boltzmann brain, I guess it could be the sim itself, you know? It could be the sim. The Boltzmann brain could be a computer. Yeah.